Welcome you back here in Baltimore. Vikings and Ravens getting ready to kick off. And in the 17 years that the Ravens have played here in this stadium, this is the first time that they have actually played a game while it has snowed like this. They've had some flurries and they've had snow before and after, but a little bit of history for this Ravens franchise. Let's head down to the field. Jennifer Hale.
Chris, and all that snow certainly is presenting some issues for both sides as well as the grounds crew. They do tell me they plan to come behind every play with shovels and try to clear off yard markers and sidelines so that folks can tell where they're at. Both players requested hot chicken broth in their locker rooms to chug just before they came out to try to keep their body warms. And as far as the players go, they say, as long as the snow doesn't stick and remains powdery like this, it's not too bad to play in. It's when it gets icy, which is what's supposed to happen after halftime. So could be a lot of adjustments in this game for players and coaches alike, Chris.
All right, thanks, Jenna. Stay warm down there. The Vikings did win the toss, but they want the ball to start the second half. So Blair Walsh will kick off to Jacoby Jones if he can find the football.
You got to ask yourself, really, who does this weather benefit in this game? I think easy to say Adrian Peterson, the #1 NFL rusher in the league right now, but I think the experience of the Baltimore Ravens in these conditions, battle-tested, gives them the advantage.
Ravens 5-1 at home. Vikings looking for their first road win of the season, and we're ready to kick it off in the snow. It is Jacoby Jones. We will try and adjust the yardage markers because from where we are, getting a good look at the field to give you the field distance when we can. Joe Flacco told me in the pregame warm-ups, Tim, that he's never played an NFL game in the snow. Back when he was a kid, throwing the ball in the yard is when it snowed. But when they worked him out before they drafted him, the Ravens said he threw the ball well in cold rain, and his grip of the football, he noticed he goes without the glove. He said this should not be a problem for him.
Yeah, his arm strength, I do not think will be affected by these snowy conditions. The great Danny Marino used to say, if it's snowing, I'm throwing, and so is Joe.
Right off the bat, incomplete from the 24-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 10. He was trying to get it to Jacoby Jones, and one of the targets, Dennis Pitta, has been activated and will play for the first time this season. He'll get some work at tight end behind Ed Dixon.
Yeah, you see the 3 wide receivers really exclusively. They've gone mostly with that. The offensive line starting to figure it out. They've played well over the last couple of weeks.
On 2nd and 10, Ray Rice the carry. Rice trying to get that average above 3 yards to carry as he had that hip problem earlier in the year and has not been as elusive. This Viking defense giving up more than 30 points a game, a franchise worst.
No, they feel like they've gotten a lot better, though, especially on 3rd down, playing a lot of man coverage. Audie Cole, 3rd consecutive start. Xavier Rhodes will be tested heavily along with Chris Cook, the corners in this game.
On 3rd down and 8. Flacco underneath Jacoby Jones, falling forward. And that red line normally would be our yellow line, which we superimpose for the first down, and it looks like he's going to be a little bit short. And Sam Cook is ready to come out to punt here, but let's see if they're going to measure. It's a little bit difficult on the officials as well in terms of spotting the football.
We're going to declare
it was 3rd and 8, pass completed and near what would be the 34-yard line.
Tell you what, this accumulation for the snow, I mean, it really didn't start snowing until a couple hours just before game time. There was no snow on the ground, but it's stacking up quick.
And they're clearing the area to try and get the chains in place. And Tim, this is an artificial field, of course. It's not heated underneath. And they really, because they haven't had snow games here during the game, first down Ravens. Had to get snow plows out there prior to the kick, but as you said, the snow is continuing to fall. And we will, we will help you at home by superimposing the yard markers here, the lines and the yardage, a little Fox technology that the players wish they had. It is a first down, and the Iron Man Joe Flacco with a 38-8 record.
Never missed a game. Think of that, Joe Flacco in this division, as physical as it is, something to be said for that.
From the 34, Flacco passes complete to Marlon Brown, who has a first down beyond the 44-yard line. And in this kind of footing, when you talk about who has an advantage, the receiver knows where he's going.
I don't think there's any doubt. That's right. Defensive backs have to react slow on the brakes in order to drive up to where the receivers are cutting to. And you'll see the footing here as Marlon Brown, little bootleg action, unloads it. Brian Robinson trying to cover him. That is a mismatch.
The 49-yard line. So after taking the opening kickoff and getting a first down, on the move again after their second first down is Ray Rice. And Rice goes into Viking territory on second down.
They are going to test Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota and their run defense thought they had it figured out a couple of weeks ago against Seattle. They were gashed over the last two games. Marshall Yanda, the right guard, he's a Pro Bowler for the Baltimore Ravens. They have a lot of inside runs right at that young linebacker right there, Audie Cole, in the middle of that defense.
From the 43-yard line of Minnesota, it's Rice on second and 2. It looks like he's got another Ravens first down.
Do we all forget how good Ray Rice has been in this league? There's no question it's been a down year. And Chris, he's got a hip injury that he's dealt with. Said it's the first time he's really dealt with a muscular injury that has sidelined him. This cat is number 2 in the NFL in scrimmage yards, only behind Adrian Peterson since he got here to Baltimore.
From the 40-yard line of the Vikings, first and 10. Ray Rice is a receiver, splits out to the right. Flacco goes short underneath to Jacoby Jones, who's brought down in a hurry. And the Minnesota Vikings, before they played in a dome, this was commonplace when you would see them play. And for the Ravens, as we said, this kind of snow during a game, an adjustment. There's Dennis Pitta, who is playing in his first game since he was in the Super Bowl, out with an injured hip and just activated this week. On second and 5 from the 35 of Minnesota, Bernard Pierce checks in at running back. Flacco has time. Sideline throw is intercepted. Chad Greenway was running in coverage with Bernard Pierce.
Right, that's just a bad decision by Joe Flacco. He had all day to throw, and then he ends up just tossing one up for grabs. Chad Greenway, much needed interception for Minnesota.
These games.
From the 18-yard line of the Vikings, Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, hand off Adrian Peterson. Following the interception, the 15th thrown by Flacco this year. That's the 4th at home on his career-high 15. For the Vikings, it's the first interception on their defense, or by their defense, in the last 5 games.
Well, Flacco just clearly underthrew Bernard Pierce. He had him open. Pierce had a step on Chad Greenway. I wonder if those white jerseys getting obliterated in all this snow factored in on that, because typically Joe's not going to underthrow somebody that bad.
Peterson on second and 9. Up across the 20-yard line. It'll bring up third down for the Vikings. Matt Castle gets his 3rd start of the season, his 6th appearance. And the Vikings have had back-to-back overtime games as they come into this one. Cordero Patterson, the rookie, has moved into the starting lineup.
And Adrian Peterson has been a beast the last 2 weeks. 67 carries in 2 games. Can the offensive line, Chris, keep it going? They're coming off their best performance of the year without question.
Toby Gerhart checks it on 3rd and 5, and that groin injury we will watch closely that has been bothering Peterson. From the 23. The Vikings
all day with these Baltimore corners.
Matt Castle throwing for Patterson through his hands. Corey Graham was back there covering.
That's a good play by Corey Graham. Again, you're going to see isolation routes everywhere. One-on-one, there's going to be shots, opportunities. And it just looks like, I mean, that was good coverage by Corey Graham, but at the last second flipped his body and got his hands up in there and batted the ball out.
Jacoby Jones back to return the punt. Jeff Locke trying to get comfortable in the accumulation there. No blocks this year. Has a long of 65 for the season. And it drops and rolls short. And at the 40 is where the Ravens will take over.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Ravens with a 1st and 10 from their own 40. Hand off Rice. This is his kind of weather, as Tim Ryan talked about. Came in with a 2.9 yard a carry average, well below the kind of runner he's been. Remember, in 2011 combined for over 2,000 yards. Bernard Pierce averaging 2.8 on the ground, and the Ravens hope to take advantage of that in these conditions. Again, snow started about 2 hours before kickoff. It's actually picked up quite a bit. On 2nd and 8 from the 42. Flacco on the move. Incomplete. And it'll bring up 3rd down.
Well, you can already tell Joe Flacco has been back to pass a few times. Has had all day to throw. Nobody open down the field, but the pass rush significantly slowed down for the Minnesota Vikings with the way the footing is out there.
And visibility, Tim, we were down on the field before when it wasn't snowing as much, as Joe Flacco has a challenge again on 3rd and 8 from the 42. And visibility is an issue here. Trying to find a receiver, and you made a good point about the white jerseys of the Vikings blending in. Pass is in the air and incomplete. Andrew Sendejo knocked it away as Flacco was trying to get it to Dennis Pitta.
I think Sendejo had visions of house call 6 points on his mind as he makes a hard break on this football and just pops it out, trying to pick it off before it could get to the hands of Dennis Pitta. Pitta should really help them, Chris. I think in particular for Joe Flacco down in the red zone, when they get in scoring position, they've really struggled without a player like Pitta on the field this year.
Sam Cook has had a punt block this year. And Marcus Sherrill's waving everybody away, and it rolls down inside the 10, down inside the 5. And a terrific punt of 53 yards without a return. The Vikings on offense in a moment.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by the all-new 2014 Jeep Cherokee. Built free. By Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side. And by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with Kay.
Moments ago, the snowplow out on the field, and in between timeouts, they got to clear the Vikings.
So he needs a horn.
They can see where they're going on the field. From the 6-yard line of Minnesota, at 1st and 10. Peterson gets the carry and is swarmed under by the Raven defense. Let's head down to the field again in Jen Hale.
Well, Chris, several Ravens players are now changing shoes, changing cleats to try and somehow get a little bit better footing on this slippery surface. It's presenting quite the challenge. 6 players have now changed shoes by my count, Chris.
And you can see, Jen, that they've gone from the molded, which are the rubber molded bottoms, to the stud cleats that can penetrate as this snow starts to accumulate, obviously for footing and the ability to change direction.
Speaking of studs, Adrian Peterson, his first game ever as a pro in the snow as he carries again. Peterson said he is not going to change cleats at all, but he may have to.
Tell you one guy who has been playing great right there for the Baltimore Ravens, Haloti Ngata. He goes right by Brandon Fusco, then takes out the fullback lead blocker, still gets in on the tackle. Ngata has been so disruptive and has dominated the line of scrimmage the last 2 weeks.
Injured player, right guard Brandon Fusco of the Vikings. Joe Berger replacing Fusco at right guard. He limped off. That's where they need to get to, that reddish line for the first down. From the 10-yard line, it's 3rd and 6. Castle completes. The ball's out. Jerome Simpson lost it after he made the catch. It looked like John Carlson fell on it and recovered for the Vikings, so they keep the football and get a fresh set of downs.
And James Ehedebo knocked it out. Got a crossing route right here, or Jimmy Smith knocks it out, 22, comes from behind, pops it out, and Carlson in good position to go get it.
The football feels a lot harder, obviously, in this weather, so it's tougher to grip. A 20-yard gain, and now at the 30-yard line.
Now, I don't think the temperature really, it's not cold for these players down there, 30 degrees or whatever it is, perfect conditions for the snow. It is about the conditions, though, and the snow accumulating and that ball getting slick in between plays.
The pitch to Toby Gerhart, and he'll maybe have a yard before Jameel McClain knocks him down, and here comes a flag. Let's check on the flag. Our referee, Pete Morelli, signaling hold against the Vikings.
Holding, number 84 offense. 10-yard penalty remains. First down.
The call on rookie receiver Cordero Patterson, so that'll back up the Vikings to the 20, and it will be first down and 20. If you just tuned in, snow began falling 2 hours before kickoff. It's in the forecast for all afternoon, changing to freezing rain by the end of the evening. And for John Harbaugh, that terrific home record.
Incredible, and they have dismantled and dominated NFC opponents under John Harbaugh.
Gerhart remains the back, gets the carry. Ball comes out at the end of the play, and the Ravens have it. Did not hear a whistle, and Gerhart was fighting for extra yardage. It looked like Matt Elam came up with the football.
Oh, I don't know if Gerhart's right knee was down. It looked like his right knee was on the snow before that ball was jarred loose, and Elam recovers it.
Each turnover reviewed upstairs automatically when there's the change of possession here.
Yeah, this one, I'm sure at this point, is under review. That was really close. Watch the right knee of Toby Gerhart down before that ball comes out.
We've already had a Flacco interception, a pass caught, fumbled, recovered by the same team, and now a fumble ruled on the field, turnover, and that man,
the previous play.
Matt Elam with the recovery. We're glad you're watching a very festive NFL on Fox. Hello, Tim Ryan, Jen Hale on the field, Chris Myers, and we're in Baltimore, 6:29 here in the opening quarter. It ruled a fumble recovery Ravens, but it looked like the knee was down of Gerhart.
The knee was definitely down before that ball got ripped out. What do they say? A game of inches, right? Football?
Well, the ground actually is
his knee's down before that gets swatted out.
Ground is a little closer to his knee than normal with the snow being.
It's going to make reviews challenging today in terms of the way the snow and the way the picture looks and the clarity in the picture. It's going to be a challenge.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
Oh, I don't agree with that.
And neither does our rules analyst,
my goodness,
Mike Pereira, who was watching it closely back at the home office in Los Angeles.
I knew vision would be a problem. I didn't know it would be that big of a problem.
Well, fans make that argument every week about officials. But the Ravens take over on the turnover here. And the rookie from Florida in the snow stars for the Ravens on the fumble recovery. Bernard Pierce, the running back. You see they've...
Boy, that's shocking. Man, that didn't even look close to me.
Cleared the field. Flacco gets away. How did he do that? Joe Flacco inside the 5 of the Vikings.
Joe Flacco, in my opinion, has always been an underrated runner. He is having a blast in this snow. How about the way Joe shakes down a couple of guys? He escapes. There's Guyon right there. Here's Robinson. He's going to miss. Then Greenway in hot pursuit. And watch Flacco put his head down and try to smash himself over the goal line for a touchdown. That dude is tough.
He's at the 4-yard line, a 21-yard run, and really he's having his best season using his feet running since his rookie season. An extra lineman in at 1st and goal, Ravens. Bernard Pierce the back. Pierce lunging forward, where it will be 2nd and goal. Coach John Harbaugh told us about Flacco. He said, throwing and this kind of stuff. Remember, he had a tornado in Chicago practically that he was able to throw in.
Definitely an advantage for Joe Flacco over Matt Castle in this game in terms of the quarterback head-to-head matchup because his arm is superior. So much stronger, more velocity than Castle's got on his throws.
From the 3-yard line, Bernard Pierce spins and no signal. It'll be 3rd and goal.
No wide receivers on the field. Of course, Minnesota totally stacking it up, loading the box. And here's a much better look to see if that ball crossed over the plane. Left elbow was down on the field. Ball was short of the goal line.
On 3rd and goal from inside the 1 following the fumble. Joe Flacco could keep it himself here. Instead, he's going to throw it in the end zone. Touchdown, Ravens! Ed Dixon.
What a total bust from the Minnesota Vikings defensively. Obviously, their eyes were all over the run game. No wide receivers on the field. Nobody even touches Ed Dixon. And Chris Cook in chase mode there. Looks like he was the guy responsible for the tight end coming out of the wing position. That's too easy for Joe Flacco. I think that's the first touchdown of the year for Ed Dixon.
For Joe Flacco, it's his 15th touchdown toss. 16th, I should say, following his 50th interception. And Justin Tucker on for the extra point to give the defending Super Bowl champions a 7-0 lead. In the bigger playoff picture, they're on the ropes, but they're in the ring. They're battling for the playoffs. We welcome you back here, the NFL on Fox in Baltimore, where the Ravens have a 7-0 lead. Just over 4 minutes to go here in the opening quarter, and from our view above, we're having a little bit of a difficult time seeing the field as well, but we're glad you're watching it. That fumble ruled a fumble and then not reversed that led to the Ravens touchdown. The Minnesota turnover big in this game and kind of a missed call by the officiating crew.
Well, I certainly thought so. I mean, to me, the looks that we got, it didn't even look close. Gerhardt clearly looked like the right knee was down before that ball started to come loose. Pete Morelli clearly didn't see it that way. And here's another look at it as you watch Gerhardt, number 32. The ball has not started to come out yet as Ihedebo ripped it out, and that right knee was down. So obviously Minnesota, bad break. They've given up a lot of points off turnovers this year. They just did it again.
And the Ravens were able to quickly take advantage and make the most. Cordero Patterson, who has taken advantage of most kickoff returns, gets up across the 20-yard line, where the Vikings will take over on offense. Fox UFC Saturday returns this week as Demetrius Johnson defends his World Flyweight Championship against Joseph Benavidez live on Fox. Coverage begins Saturday at 8 Eastern on Fox. And Arthur Jones of the Ravens defensive line, his brother, John Jones, the UFC light heavyweight champ. Of course, he has a brother who plays for the Patriots as well.
Chandler Jones, who's having a great year up there in New England. His younger brother, 10.5 sacks. Of course, John Jones, the best in the world at mixing it up in the cage.
Adrian Peterson, the back. He's only had 4 carries so far for 9 yards. Castle. It'll be second down. Let's check in with Joel Klatt for a game break. Joel?
Thanks, Chris. And we head to Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger, one of the best bad weather quarterbacks in the NFL, to Emmanuel Sanders' 5-yard TD catch, his 5th of the season. Steelers up 7-3. Huge playoff implications in that one, Chris and Tim.
You're right, Joel, and the Ravens keeping an eye on that.
You bet.
Coming off that Thanksgiving Day win against the Steelers, 7 games the Ravens have been involved in that have been decided by 3 points or less, with a 3-4 record in those games. On second down, Peterson straight ahead. It'll be third down for the Vikings. Ravens come in having won 3 out of 4. The defense starting to fall back into that reliable category. All the personnel changes from, it looked like a different team for the most part that went to the Super Bowl.
I think they're better on defense this year, and that's hard to say without Ray Lewis and Ed Reed on the field. So great here for so long, but Darryl Smith in the middle, he has been awesome. James Ahedebo is having his best year as a pro in year number 7, and these guys dominate at home.
Adrian Peterson, top of your screens, and he lines up as a receiver. Castle going deep and caught. Cordero Patterson had to wait on it and makes the grab. He has been emerging as a receiver, started right away in the NFL as a return man, and after a 23-yard connection sets up the Vikings.
And this is all Patterson right here. He's covered well by Ladarius Webb, and look at him just make a nice adjustment on the football. He's got Webb draped across his body and comes down with it. I mean, this guy, for a rookie, Chris, you've talked about his return stuff. He flashes like superstar skills. I think he's going to be a good one.
He had a touchdown run, a touchdown catch, and returns for a touchdown as Peterson tries to get through and breaks a tackle before falling in the arms of Terrell Suggs. Suggs very animated when we spoke with him on Friday about how they have no margin for error, this Raven team, if they want to get back into the postseason.
And what did Terrell Suggs tell us on Friday? He said, look, here's our ambition. We've got to shut down Adrian Peterson, try to neutralize him, not get beat over the top. Both of those things have happened in terms of the passing game today. He said if we make Minnesota one-dimensional, it's done. They're cooked.
From the 49-yard line of Baltimore. Second down 6. Castle in trouble. Gets rid of it. And a one-handed grab by Greg Jennings. But it's tough to tell whether he was inbounds or in the building with all that snow. And James Ahedebo put the pressure on Castle. They're ruling it incomplete. Let's take another look at the effort from Jennings.
Just going to throw that back shoulder go route. Yeah, that right foot. Only one foot came down anyway, so that's a good call over there by the side judge. But you can see the footing's an issue. Ahedebo had Matt Castle in his crosshairs and could not change directions to get the sack.
From the 49 of Baltimore, 3rd and 6. Pass is incomplete. Trying to get it to Simpson. It'll be 4th down. Jeff Locke coming in to punt. After Castle's pass went incomplete, Minnesota using 3 different starting quarterbacks. Christian Ponder is inactive with a concussion today. Josh Freeman, the backup quarterback for Minnesota. And Ladarius Webb back to return the punt. Pressure was on, but he got it away. Waving everybody away is Webb. As it rolls down inside the 10-yard line. For the Ravens, they have the tiebreaker already over Miami, which is why they stand where they do, and still a shot at the division.
That's right.
Because they finished the regular season against the Bengals, but after today, their schedule is brutal, as we pointed out, playing the Lions and the Patriots and then Cincinnati.
Yeah, and they've certainly had issues against NFC North teams on the road historically when you look at Baltimore, but having the Patriots here on their home field, big advantage.
John Harbaugh's team took advantage of the fumble, and Ed Dixon with his first touchdown of the season. That's all the scoring there is so far. And a timeout, an official timeout at the, it looks like there's a flag down. The Ravens have the football.
Defense, 12 men on the field. Prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
I think Sanford was arguing about a substitution. But Pete Morelli, who is a principal at St. Mary's High School in Stockton, California.
That's Mr. Morelli to you.
He would have none of that. He knows the rules. So 1st and 5 now from the 12-yard line of the Ravens. Ray Rice checks back in at running back. Rice the carry, knifing his way up near the 15-yard line. Ray Rice, a string of 4 consecutive 1,000-yard rushing seasons in jeopardy this year. That hip's been bothering him. The elusiveness has not been there for him, but he certainly has the right attitude. Said, I'll do whatever it takes now to get us into the playoffs.
You know what else, too, though? The holes haven't been there by the offensive line. 3 new players up front this year. There haven't been running lanes for Ray Rice nor Bernard Pierce.
From the 14-yard line, Flacco drops. It was a little behind Marlon Brown. It'll be 3rd and 3.
Should be an interesting matchup. Watching Marlon Brown, who's really come out of nowhere as a college free agent, big slot receiver at 6'5". He will be matched up throughout the day today on Blanton from the Minnesota Vikings. Robert Blanton, who really was a corner in college at Notre Dame, drafted as a safety, and now he's had to settle in as the nickel cornerback role, guarding the slot receiver.
Flacco on the move on 3rd and 3. He goes down. Brian Robinson, who has 32 quarterback hits, reeled in a sack right there.
Had to set the hook first.
That's the 40th time that Flacco has been sacked this season, and that ties the most times that he has been sacked in a season in his career.
Minnesota knows if they keep their foot on the gas pedal and keep their motors running, Joe Flacco will hold the ball and he will take sacks.
Clock running here to wind down the opening quarter. Sam Cook, who last time kicked a nice one that bounced down inside the 10. Gets it away. Marcus Sherrill's waving everybody away. It stays in bounds and rolls all the way inside the 20. Another terrific kick from Cook. Sam Cook, you send me. It's the end of the opening quarter in Baltimore after a 69-yard punt. With Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, the NFL on Fox here in Baltimore as we begin the second quarter. Flacco has suffered an interception. He threw a touchdown pass, but it was a Baltimore Raven fumble recovery by Matt Elam and set up that score to make it 7-0. Castle throwing, and what a catch. John Carlson leaping in the air. Good enough for a Viking first down. Minnesota comes in, Tim, in their last 4 for Leslie Frazier. They have a 2-1-1 record. Of course, those back-to-back overtime games, and counting on Castle to get them another one.
Well, they've ridden the back of Adrian Peterson for sure over the last couple. But you know what? John Carlson has answered the bell as well. That's a good throw from Matt Castle. And since Carlson's been out there for the injured Kyle Rudolph, it's been good to see him play well.
After a 12-yard gain, Castle hit as he throws, and it was nearly intercepted as Castle is knocked down to the snowy turf.
And he looked like he hurt his elbow as he was unloading that football, got blasted from a blitzer. Let's watch his right arm as he unloads it.
Courtney Upshaw was in there.
And a Hedaboo coming off the edge. It looked like his right elbow hit Courtney Upshaw in the helmet right there. Yeah, you could see it. His right elbow right on the helmet.
On 2nd and 10 from the 31 of the Vikings. Oh, hard as Peterson slips away but goes down. The NFL's leading rusher ran into D'Angelo Tyson.
And no footing issues for D'Angelo Tyson as he just flew into the backfield. Tried to put the smash on Adrian Peterson. Well, Adrian barely got that, was able to get it back to the line of scrimmage.
3rd and 11 after a loss of 1.
First team timeout. A 30-second timeout.
Baltimore Ravens using the timeout. and facing a 3rd down and 11. Well, Tim, as a former defensive lineman yourself who played in Chicago, some of the players, they had a chance to get out and have fun in the snow. It was falling a couple hours before kickoff. They seemed to enjoy it. What about the long haul of the game? What effect does it have as these conditions continue to get sloppy?
Well, I think if it gets sloppier, it'll have a bigger effect. If it turns to freezing rain, if the temperature goes up and it stops snowing, and then it starts coming down as rain and freezes when it hits, that will totally change the conditions for the footing on this football field, and it's all about footing. You know that, change of direction.
Well, Adrian Peterson battling a groin injury already, and under normal circumstances, you might say he could take advantage. So far, he only has 16 yards rushing, and here they go with 4 wide receivers and Toby Gerhart on 3rd and 11. Under pressure, Gerhart has it barely and loses it. That is ruled incomplete right away. Or it might have been another turnover for the Ravens.
Yeah, he never had possession. Gerhart was trying to corral that football. Screen pass, really well played by Darryl Smith and some of the other guys defensively for Baltimore, but no doubt Toby Gerhart never had that football.
Interesting that Jacoby Jones is back to receive the punt of Jeff Locke.
Well, let's not forget, Jacoby can tear it up as a punt returner. He did in Houston for years.
He's going after it and has it on the run. Jacoby Jones on the sideline. Ran out of bounds by Audie Cole. A return of 21, and no Mike Tomlin in the picture.
Be nice.
I kid, I care. We'll continue.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Domino's. Oh, yes, we did. By the new Windows. One experience for everything in your life. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Temperature just below 30 degrees. That's not bothering these fans. The wind chill, though, feels more like 25 degrees with snow flurries and wintry mix continuing throughout the day and evening from the 48-yard line of Minnesota. Flacco. Torrey Smith couldn't get it.
It just looked like inadvertent tangling of the feet as Xavier Rhodes, who will be under heavy aerial attack today out on the perimeter, got his legs tied up with Torrey Smith. There's the matchup to your right. And see, watch as Rhodes turns his head back to locate the ball. Looked like their feet either got tangled up or Torrey Smith just tripped over a bump of snow.
Rhodes, a guy who had quite a test against Chicago, 16 passes defensed, leads the Vikings team in the starting spot because of Josh Robinson's injury. And it's Jacoby Jones on a run to the right, and he's run out of bounds by Chad Greenway. Greenway, who is coming off a game in which he had 10 tackles and playing with a fractured wrist.
And this is all Chad Greenway staying home. You're going to see him out here on the edge. He's going to peek inside, but he's going to see this action coming around. And he just forces it right back inside to where his help is. Jacoby Jones said there's nothing going in there, so he popped it outside, and Chad Greenway ran him out of bounds. He's playing well this season.
Loss of 5. It's 3rd down now. From the 47 of Baltimore. Flacco. Incomplete. Way out of bounds. And that'll bring out the punting unit.
Footing definitely an issue. Torrey Smith out there on the edge again as he was trying to break off his route. Looks like he went down again in the snowy conditions.
Sam Cook will have a chance to pin the Vikings deep once again. He's done a terrific job in a field position battle so far.
Yeah, don't underestimate that. In these conditions, how the field position game is going to play a major factor, and these punters will be a big part of it.
Marcus Sherrill, capable of returning big ones. Watches it, and Jarius Wright watches it go by. That'll be a touchback after a 52-yard boot. Adrian Peterson and the Vikings take over at the 20. American Idol is looking for the next superstar. Join Jennifer Lopez, Keith Urban, and Harry Connick Jr. along with Ryan Seacrest as they search for the best new talent. American Idol's most exciting season begins Wednesday, January 15th on Fox.
It's going to be fun watching those judges. J-Lo back and then Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah, Harry Connick Jr., a big Saints fan. Vikings trailing 7-0. Castle's flip is incomplete. Trying to get it to Adrian Peterson. 7 carries, 16 yards in the game so far for Peterson. He carried it 35 times for 211 yards last week and joked and said, I was getting stronger when everybody else was getting tired. But of course, in this game, the Vikings want to limit the number of carries.
Well, having said that, and he was awesome last week and pretty darn good the week before that. But Adrian Peterson this year, a lot of 10-yard runs, some 20-yard runs. With his growing, I think it's clear it's not 100%, Chris. A lot of those plays would have been of the 40, 50-yard variety if he was healthy.
From the Viking 20, Castle in trouble. Gets away. He's got room to run. Sliding at the 25, where it'll bring up 3rd and 5. Darryl Smith, the leading tackler of this Ravens team, ran him down.
It's so hard to change your mindset as a pass rusher when you get to the quarterback. You're going to work 40 times a game to get there. But in these conditions, and you may only get there a couple of times, in these conditions, Chris, you got to break down, you got to slow your feet down and make sure you get the quarterback wrapped up. We've already seen several missed sacks in this game because of the footing.
From the 25 of Minnesota, Peterson loses the ball out of bounds. And he looks like he's in great pain.
He's definitely, the way that he came down after that ball squirted out, it was immediate that there was something wrong.
One of the more conditioned athletes in the NFL, as Arthur Brown was the Ravens defender who went after him after he took in the pass. Adrian Peterson needing to be helped up on the sideline. Of course, his amazing comeback from an injury that might have devastated other players, and then to rush for more than 2,000 yards last year and pick up the MVP award.
Something with his feet is they got tangled under Arthur Brown. Like his right ankle got trapped and turned kind of funny as Arthur Brown was coming down on him.
Short of the first down. We'll get a report from the Viking bench here in just a moment as Jeff Locke comes out to boot it away from the 29-yard line of the Vikings. And Jacoby Jones back at the 30 of the Ravens, where he'll back up inside the 20. Jacoby Jones racing out of bounds near the 28-yard line. A 54-yard punt and an 11-yard return as we continue to monitor the health of Adrian Peterson. And in the NFC,
how about a few of these games today? Seattle, San Francisco, Carolina, the New Orleans Saints. Still a lot to be decided. Seattle wins that game today against San Francisco. No matter what, they'll be division champions, Chris, and at least a number 2 seed, which means a first-round bye.
And the Packers still without Aaron Rodgers. If you didn't appreciate his value to the league and that team before, you do a lot more now. Ray Rice carries. Let's check in with Jen on Adrian Peterson.
Well, Chris, I'm standing here right next to him. Trainers are having him turn and flex that ankle as they try to evaluate it now. They are moving him. Looks like he is headed towards the locker room. He is walking on his own power, but he is being very ginger. Looks like they might be testing him out a little bit more. They seem concerned about how much movement and how much play he has in that ankle, but clearly he is fighting to come back in this game. He does not want this day to be over, Chris.
Flacco throwing for Marlon Brown, and it'll be third down from the Baltimore 27-yard line.
I'll tell you one thing about Baltimore. Even if they're not connecting on those deep throws, Joe Flacco is going to serve notice to every defense every Sunday that he's going to throw it deep 5, 6, 7 times a game.
As they continue to check on Peterson, well, a number of the defenders of the Vikings call Joe Flacco the best deep thrower in the NFL right now, and you wonder how the snow affects that. A heavier ball underneath and incomplete for Jacoby Jones. Xavier Rhodes was covering another little pass defense for him.
I think one thing about Rhodes is he's getting better, no question, as he's gotten more game reps. Hard to get better in practice versus getting real game reps, and he's gotten a lot of them as a rookie, Xavier Rhodes, and it's really money in the bank towards the future for that press corner.
Not a good sign when Peterson needs help in the cart to get off the field, knowing his personality. Cook with two returners back, Sherrills and Wright, and neither one will have an opportunity. Adrian Peterson injured. Vikings trailing in Baltimore.
Today's game is sponsored by Ford. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more.
Ravens protecting a 7-0 lead from the 34 of the Vikings. First down Minnesota. So Toby Gerhart in with the injured Adrian Peterson. And he breaks a tackle for a first down. Up near midfield is still going into Baltimore territory is Toby Gerhart.
Well, he's going to get an opportunity now with Adrian Peterson in the locker room getting that ankle checked out. Gerhart has rolled this year, 9 yards a carry. This one right up the gut. He's going to break a couple of tackles, gets a nice lead block. Look at Toby Gerhart getting it going. And people forget, this guy was a great running back at Stanford. Outstanding.
21-yard gain. Look at those pictures in the snow. You see a Viking running back, you think of Dave Osborne or Bill Brown, maybe when they played outdoors and met Bloomington on first down. Castle's throw is high and incomplete. Trying to get it to Greg Jennings. So the Vikings, other than Gerhart, Matt Asiata is the only other running back, and then of course fullback Jerome Felton active for this game.
Well, Castle's got to get it heated up because they are clearly, in my opinion, going to have to throw the football more without Adrian Peterson out there. And he just had Greg Jennings wide open in the middle of the field and just launched it over his head.
From the 45-yard line of the Ravens. Second down. Gerhart will lose yards back at midfield. Arthur Jones with the defensive play for that Raven defense, which is one of the better in the league. In fact, giving up only 19 points a game.
And they're great here at home, 12 points a game. They dominate the line of scrimmage in terms of the run. Now, I was talking to Clarence Brooks before the game, the defensive line coach. My old D-line coach in Chicago, he said Arthur Jones is playing great. That was a good example of it right there.
In his fourth season, a fifth-round draft pick from Syracuse. On third down, Castle's throw on target, short of the first down. Greg Jennings makes the catch. And Castle pointing to the Viking sideline as if we're going for it on fourth down.
Now this territory here, I mean, it'd be a hard kick for sure. You don't want to punt and put it into the end zone. And they were 3 for 3 on fourth down last week, the Minnesota Vikings, including a huge one, 4th and 11, backed up in their own end, which fueled their victory.
Leslie Frazier's going to want a timeout here on 4th and 2. From the Baltimore 38-yard line, trailing by 7. America's Game of the Week coming up. We showed you the playoff picture of the NFC, and the Seahawks have lost just once this year, facing the 49ers at Candlestick. Giants and Chargers. Rams and Cardinals both still alive, believe it or not, in the NFC wildcard picture. That's coming up next. Snow around the league and sleet.
Or snow, you're not stopping Joe. And certainly not on the ground. Flacco 4-13 in this game. He's only thrown for 29 yards. Has the touchdown to Ed Dixon and the interception, but a huge run for Joe Flacco, which set up that first touchdown.
And that's something Matt Castle may have to do. I've seen in these kinds of games, Tim, where a quarterback, things break down and he goes off skating for big gainers. Especially,
Chris, that's a good point, because Baltimore plays a lot of man coverage, and you got those defenders with their backs turned to the quarterback, running with receivers, opportunities to run for the QB.
Fourth down, he's throwing. Jerome Simpson has a Viking first down. Ladarius Webb was there covering.
Not great awareness by Ladarius Webb. I mean, you got to understand it's 4th and 2. You got to know where the sticks are. Here's the matchup. Basically just gets out-muscled by Jerome Simpson. He just gets to the first down sticks and turns around, and Castle delivers a nice football.
Down to the 32-yard line at Baltimore.
Down. Hey, Mike, one. Lady.
Castle to throw for Simpson on the sideline, knocked away incomplete. And Jerome Simpson had to play defense with Jimmy Smith.
And then this ball comes out way late for Jerome Simpson. And Castle told us they're going to take those chances. I mean, there's man coverage. You know Baltimore's going to load the box, so you get one-on-one isolation routes. Jerome Simpson's got to wait a long time on that ball, and as you said, go up and play some defense so Jimmy Smith doesn't intercept it. That ball's got to come out sooner. I promise you, Matt Castle knew he was throwing that ball pre-snap before he unloaded it. He's got to be a quicker decision maker and just throw it.
From the 32-yard line of the Ravens, Castle's throw caught by Jennings right near the first down marker in a pile of snow, and I think he's frustrated because he thought he might have been able to break away for a touchdown. All 3 of Jennings' touchdown passes this year have come from Matt Castle.
And some zone here now for Matt Castle. He dissects it, identifies it, and you're right. Greg Jennings was mad. His left foot slipped out from under him right there. I think he thought, like you said, Chris, he was going to turn back to the outside and scamper into the end zone.
Gain of 11. 4 wide receivers come in at the Ravens 21 from Matt Castle, who's surveying the situation.
He's got a nice little rhythm going right now.
Caught by Jarius Wright, knocked down right away. Ball's out, incomplete.
Corey Graham was having none of that. I almost think he baited that off coverage, telling Matt Castle, I'm going to play off. Go ahead, try to throw that quick hitch. He just busted up on it. Put his helmet right through the shoulder pad of Jarius Wright.
You would have these big coats keep bumping into each other in this booth. I feel like I'm playing on the defensive line or something with you.
You couldn't hang in there, Chris.
Not in these conditions. I give these guys a lot of credit. 2nd and 10. The pitch to Gerhardt. Down maybe back to the 20-yard line where it'll be 3rd and long. Jameel McClain makes the stop. Let's get an update with Jen on Peterson.
Well, Chris, I'm back in the locker room in the tunnel with Adrian Peterson. They just moved him from the Vikings locker room into the X-ray room. Good news is he was walking on his own power. That injured right foot was in a sandal, not in the cleat. I'll let you know as soon as we have some updates and results from those X-rays, Chris.
All right, thank you very much, Jen. And see, this is what I mean about the conditions.
Get out of here.
You think we have it easy up in the booth here. We're trying to tough it out, just like the guys and the fans. 3rd and 9, and it's Cordero Patterson going the other way. Can he get a first down? Spinning out of bounds, yes. Tough footing. There's a flag down in the backfield as Patterson picked up the first down. Nice footwork.
Tell you what, when he decided he wasn't going to get to the outside and had to cut it up, his burst was ridiculous.
Personal foul, illegal peel back block, number 61, offense. 15-yard penalty remains, third down.
That's on Joe Berger, who's in for Brandon Fusco, who went out with a knee injury, and that will wipe out what would have been a first down for Leslie Frazier.
And penalties are brutal for all coaches. They can't stand them, but when you get into scoring position, they're really bad. Watch Berger right here at right guard. He gets out there initially, gets the contact. Ooh, that is a tough call. He blocked Darryl Smith and then did disengage, but still had both shoulders in front of Darryl Smith when he chopped him down. That's a bad call.
All the way back to the 35-yard line of Baltimore. They set up the screen to Cordero Patterson, who is fighting hard. Well short of the first down, but may give them a field goal opportunity.
Chris, it looks like these field conditions have affected everybody on this field except 84, Cordero Patterson. He is electric.
Here comes Blair Walsh to try a field goal. He was out early to try and test the conditions, but the snow has accumulated as Jeff Locke is allowed to clear that. You can't, of course, use a snow plow. This will be 39 yards for one of the league's better kickers. And he quickly booted it through what looks like a blizzard here.
Looks like our TV screens in 1975. Fine-tune that thing a little bit, will you?
Only this is in color, and the color is purple, whether you're rooting for the Vikings or for the Ravens. Baltimore leads at home 7-3. 4:28 remaining here. Ravens with a 7-3 advantage, and look, this is Blair Walsh talking to the staff here. They have some volunteers helping to clear the field. The snow is continuing to fall. Boy, he's pretty picky about where he wants to kick this thing off, huh? And in between every break and timeout, they're out there with the snowplow. Again, this is the first official game in the 17 years.
That's crazy.
That the Ravens had actually had snow during the game. They've had flurries. They've had heavy snow before and after. Even had a game, Raven fans remember, against Chicago where they delayed the start. But it was sunny when the game started because they had to clear the snow. So after the 39-yard field goal, Walsh booting it for Jacoby Jones, who's coming out of the end zone and across the 20. Let's check in with Joel Klatt for a game break.
Chris, let's go a few miles away to Washington. Things not looking good for the Redskins. Jamal Charles, a 5-yard TD catch, his second of the day. That made it 24-0 Chiefs. They would add a Dexter McCluster punt return for a touchdown. It's 31-0 Kansas City over Washington. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Joel. Just 40 miles from here, and things are getting difficult and sloppy in Washington, D.C.
And Kansas City trying to get it figured out. 3 consecutive losses. They've got it right today against the Redskins.
Ray Rice carries from the 26-yard line.
And if Kansas City wins that game, and it looks like they're on their way, and Miami loses, it looks like they're up on Pittsburgh right now 10-7. There it is right there. Kansas City will clinch a playoff spot.
And the Bengals have opened up their lead on the Colts now. From the 26, there comes a flag.
Defense, offside, 5-yard penalty remaining, second down.
A couple of NFC playoff teams in the mix leading their divisions coming into the day, and some snow there in Philadelphia. The Lions shutting out Nick Foles and the Eagles. So now that's 4 penalties on the Vikings in this game. None on the Ravens. From the 31 of Baltimore.
See if Flacco takes a shot here. One-on-one on the outside. Nope.
Ray Rice, maybe a yard or 2.
Have we seen really one open running lane for Ray Rice or Bernard Pierce in this game? I mean, the running backs are getting all the flack and what happened and where's the run game. Chris, I've watched enough tape this year with Baltimore offensively. Their offensive line, they have really one physical dominant player up front, and it's Marshall Yanda. That's it.
I remember the great center Matt Burke, who not only played for the Ravens, the Vikings as well, now works with the league. He made a difference on whatever line he played. On third down, Flacco, incomplete. Dennis Pitta could not hold on. Second time he's trying to get the ball to him, and it'll be fourth down for Flacco and the Ravens. So Flacco now 4 out of 14.
Well, the first one, as you said to Pitta, that was a bad throw and got broken up. This one just off the fingertips of Dennis Pitta. He leads him, and Pitta can't hold on.
Sam Cook standing inside the Raven 20. And again, using two returners, Jarius Wright. This is Marcus Sherrills, who has an opportunity to return. Gets up across the 30 of Baltimore. Fox Sports Live tonight at 11 Eastern. All the highlights and reaction from Week 14 in the NFL. Plus, who's going to be in the BCS National Title game? Who's on the outside looking in? And the Kobe return for the Lakers. Tonight on Fox Sports 1. If you don't get Fox Sports 1, look for it at foxsports1.com or ask your cable provider for that. Look at our...
We'll see 100 highlights with snow.
Well, it just
on the show tonight.
It makes the scene more fun and less predictable. Saw part of our crew weathering the snow to bring you these pictures from the 33 of the Vikings on first down. Matt Castle floats one, and open is Patterson again, who was the key man on the last drive for the Vikings. There a gain of 19 yards.
Wide open on the crosser. It's all set up from the play action. Watch as Cordero comes down with it. The footing is an issue. I mean, there is no doubt. It's the first time we've seen it really affect him, but as he went down to the ground, his left foot gave out. Really impossible for him to get any yards after the catch.
Quick pass caught by Jennings, who will take us to the two-minute warning. Looked like Arthur Jones doing a snow angel on the back end of that for the Ravens. 2 minutes before the half here in Baltimore. Man, you are a devoted fan. When you huddle there on 2nd and 5 from the Baltimore 43. Gerhardt carries. Remember, the Vikings, Adrian Peterson went out injured, believed to be a knee, and the Ravens playing without their leading sacker, Elvis Dumerville, inactive today.
Yeah, and they're going to count on Courtney Upshaw and some of the other guys to provide the pressure. They've had opportunities for sacks. They haven't been able to get Matt Castle down. I'll tell you what, Terrell Suggs, he hadn't had a sack in 4 games. They want to get on this little run here. Let's see if old Suggs right here can get it heated up.
At the 43 of the Ravens. They threaten pressure. It's picked up. Time for Castle to get rid of it. And knocked away where it'll be fourth down. Darryl Smith making the play.
He has been such a good player this year for the Baltimore Ravens. Chris, Darryl Smith, his whole career in Jacksonville, he was a feature player for Jack Del Rio and the Jaguars on their defense. Significant injury last year. A lot of people thought he was done. He has been a huge addition for this Baltimore defense.
Going back is Ladarius Webb as the punt returner. Jeff Locke trying to pin him deep. Handles the high snap. And into the end zone for a touchback. A lot of other games we should be keeping an eye on. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, it may be snow at the game you're watching, but it's another sunny day here in Los Angeles. And coming up on the Visa halftime, the Colts and Bengals jockey for playoff positioning in the AFC, and the Chiefs go for win number 10. So, guys, you know what? Despite the fact it looks sunny, it's going to struggle to make 60 today.
Ooh. Yeah, it's chilly for you.
Teams are struggling. Somebody made a snowman during the...
Well, it must have been Arthur Jones. He's making snow angels. How about snowmen on the sideline?
It's been a struggle for the offense. The last completion for Flacco was his touchdown. There goes one the way right. first down.
And that's an area I think they can really exploit. You got Audie Cole out there. He's in his third start at middle linebacker, a prolific receiver out of the backfield, and Ray Rice. They should go back to that numerous times in this football game. That's a huge matchup advantage for Baltimore.
A 12-yard gain. The Ravens have 2 timeouts. So do the Vikings. Just over a minute to go. Flacco on the move. There's a flag down in the offensive backfield as he runs for a first down. And remember, it was his 21-yard run.
Penalty, second down.
That set up the touchdown, but this will be negated by a hold. And it'll be the first penalty of this game on the Ravens.
John Harbaugh doesn't like it. I believe it was Michael Orr. We didn't get a number, but I saw Brian Robinson, the defensive end, right away pointing up and gesturing that it was a hold, and I believe he was on Michael Orr that play. Here it is right there. There's Orr out at right tackle. Here's Robinson, spin move inside. He's got him locked up. Yeah, and you see him, he's got a hold of that 9 as he tries to peel out.
Yeah,
it was on Orr for sure.
Orr, the 3rd most penalized player since he's come into the league. So from the 22, they set up the screen to Rice, who's got some room to run. Near the 35. Rice with 17 yards rushing on the ground. The Ravens use a timeout, and through the air, his 2nd catch.
And Ray Rice, I mean, those kind of plays were a staple for Ray Rice. Look at this, run after the catch, dump it off underneath. Joe Flacco loves to run those deep routes, clearing it out, and then there's the check down, the safety valve. And Ray Rice, it's hard to believe. You got Adrian Peterson, #1 in scrimmage yards over the last 5 or 6 years. Ray Rice right behind him, and you see what he's done through the air as a receiver.
Only 5'8". 3 Pro Bowls he's been to, has a body covered with tattoos, but each one of them, he says, are meaningful. They represent a member of his family. From the 35 on 2nd and 7. 1 timeout remaining. Ravens. Incomplete for Dennis Pitta. That connection is 0 for 3 today, or misconnection. It'll be 3rd down.
Interesting. I mean, Dennis Pitta hurt in training camp, really the first day of pads, a significant hip injury. One that initially they thought, until they got further tests, could be career-threatening. First game back in these conditions, and big challenge.
Dallas Clark is inactive. He had been the backup tight end to Ed Dixon. From the 35 of Baltimore. Underneath to Rice. That extra lunge may have been good enough to get him the first down. And it is a first down as the Ravens use their last timeout in the half. 7-3 our score. Baltimore trying to get more and try to stay in the playoff picture. If the season ended today, they would be in as a wild card at 6-6. But remember John Harbaugh telling us we're still finding our offensive identity. That's weird to say when you win a Super Bowl and you're at this stage in the season, but because that running game has struggled, it had to rely on the pass so much more.
Yeah, and we talked to Coach Harbaugh the other day, and I was trying to get into his head about this offense, and he said we really tried the conventional run game. We tried to do what's worked in the past, and then it wasn't working, and we finally said to ourselves, hey, we got Joe. Let's go. Let's throw it 40 times a game.
Flacco airing it out, sideline out of bounds. Trying to get it to Marlon Brown.
One thing about John Harbaugh, and if you know his history, I mean, he was a great special teams coordinator with the Philadelphia Eagles. 1 year as a secondary coach, came over here as a head coach with great success. His special teams are on point, and his second-year kicker, Justin Tucker, who could play a role here on this drive, has been huge.
Dennis Pitta finally has a catch. He's knocked out of bounds. Fans want a flag, but there isn't one.
I think you got to give the defenders on the perimeter a bit of a pass today because of the clarity of trying to ID where the sideline is.
And also your footing, if you slide one way and make a move, and Harbaugh doesn't agree. But Pitta made the catch.
He did have a foot out there when...
But it's hard to see now.
It definitely is hard to see.
3rd down and 1 at the 47 of Minnesota. Pass complete for the first down to Marlon Brown. And they're going to have to spike it because they're out of timeouts.
Absolutely they are.
And this is too far with just 4 seconds left.
And Minnesota gave them that underneath. They had nobody covering those short underneath routes. They gave it to the Baltimore Ravens and battled the clock.
Well, a season long, as you see the numbers, and the career long for Justin Tucker, who has been so valuable to this team. But the ball at the 40 right now, a little bit beyond the 40 of Minnesota. So will you try a Hail Mary in the end zone? It would be a 58-yard field goal on a tough field. So it looks like they're going to skip that and try to get something in the end zone. Flacco is in trouble. That's Jared Allen, who's going to get a sack. 7th sack of the season for Jared Allen. And that'll bring an end to a defensive first half. The Vikings get the ball in the second half, trailing 7-3. Let's head to the Warren Studios and Kirk Menefee. Actual Viking care in vogue here in Baltimore. It's been snowing for 5 hours and is in the forecast for the rest of the evening, turning to sleet and freezing rain. So they've played in it. The fans have hung in there with it. And their home team, the Ravens, lead it 7-3 as we get ready to start the third. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Justin Tucker will kick off. There's Cordero Patterson. You know, only four kickoffs have been returned for touchdowns this season in the entire league. Patterson has 2 of them.
Yeah, he has been electric, and just one of those 3 first-round picks that Rick Spielman and the Minnesota Vikings went with on draft day in April.
And of course, he has the 109-yarder, which is a record. Has trouble coming up with the football here, but takes off once he has it. Cordero Patterson, running people over to the 40-yard line.
He just trucked Justin Tucker. You know, sometimes when they muff that kickoff return, it ends up being an advantage because it throws off the timing of the guys trying to cover. You can see there, he just bursts right through a tackle and then snow plows right over Justin Tucker, the kicker.
A 42-yard return for the rookie from Tennessee. Sets up the Vikings at the 40.
Hey, Mike, one.
Toby Gerhart remains the back. And the snow continuing to fall. Remember, Adrian Peterson out with an injured knee from the second quarter, unlikely to return. And Gerhart gets through a hole and gets near midfield.
Chris, I think it's his ankle. I think it's the right ankle of Adrian Peterson.
Well, the team is officially reporting his knee, but what do the Vikings have to do to get back into this game without Peterson?
Well, I think just keep doing what they're doing. Matt Castle in the first half found a little bit of a groove, certainly in the second quarter, getting the football to Cordero Patterson and to Greg Jennings. They've got to convert on third down. 2 of 9 in the first half. That's not going to get it done.
So whether it's Peterson's knee or his ankle, we know he came in with a groin injury. Right, he's out of the picture at the moment. On first down. Gerhart carries. Let's check in down on the field. Jennifer Hale has more on Adrian Peterson.
Well, Chris, he is no longer here at the stadium. The Vikings have sent him to a nearby MRI facility for more tests, according to Coach Leslie Frazier. So that means a bigger day now for Toby Gerhart. He's certainly going to have to step up in his absence. Over on the Ravens sideline, Coach Sean Harbaugh tells me that this weather is tremendously affecting their execution. And although the players were enjoying it pregame, I can tell you they're starting to get very frustrated now, Chris, with how difficult it is to execute.
From the 49 of Baltimore on second down, Castle sideline throw, incomplete. Trying to get it to Chase Ford, the reserve tight end.
And these snowflakes have grown tremendously. I mean, I don't know if it's snowing as hard as it was in the first half, but the flakes have multiplied in size by about 3.
They're larger clumps, and you can see the field looks a lot better than it did in the second quarter because during the half they had the snow plows out and worked as fast as they could to make the field a bit more clear, at least down the middle.
Strike 1! Area, you're solid!
From the 49, here's Castle, and completes to Jennings. racing his way down to the 30, and that combination, two veterans who, when they joined this Minnesota team, Leslie Frazier said they connected back in training camp, and that comfort level has carried through.
And I think a better opportunity to evaluate Greg Jennings and what he's been able to do here this year. He's been a big disappointment for the Minnesota fans. Thought they had a real star as they signed him away from the Green Bay Packers in free agency. He's been so inconsistent with Christian Ponder, and of course, as you said, Greg's had that Achilles injury. Better opportunity to evaluate him with Matt Castle delivering the mail.
From the Baltimore 30, Gerhardt slips a tackle, works his way down inside the 23-yard line after that 19-yard play from Castle to Jennings. In fact, if you look at just the raw numbers, Matt Castle has outpassed Joe Flacco in this game. 131 yards for Castle. Flacco 9 of 22 for 79 yards with a touchdown and an interception.
And Gerhardt has outrun both running backs for the Baltimore Ravens, Pierce and Ray Rice.
Now at the 22-yard line.
Mike 5-1. Monday.
On 2nd and 2.
Monday. Sword.
Castle has it. Throws in the air and incomplete. Was trying to get it to John Carlson. It'll be 3rd down.
Castle has gotten it figured out here. And the start of the game, the ball was rising up on him. The accuracy wasn't there. He has figured it out in terms of his footing and his rotation and the way that ball's coming out, because it's coming in with high velocity and nice and accurate.
And you can see the clumps of snow, thicker, heavier, covering the field faster. 22-yard line of the Ravens.
Ready?
Watch Greg Jennings right here at the front of that little bunch set.
And a timeout call by the Vikings. You saw Cordero Patterson getting in the backfield. Minnesota trailing in Baltimore, but on the move.
This game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Strong for all the roads ahead.
That's what the Vikings and Ravens are up against here in Baltimore from the 22 of the Ravens. It's 3rd and 2, 7th play of the drive for Minnesota.
Greg Jennings right there.
Pass incomplete in the area of Simpson. It'll be 4th down and about a 40-yard field goal depending on the spot for Blair Walsh, who is 1 for 1 today, made from 39 yards. And again, you're allowed to clear the spot. The player, the holder can. You can't bring out a snowplow or a shovel to do that. In fact, 31 years ago this Thursday is the Patriot-Dolphin game where they had an issue about that historically. And Walsh hustles and knocks it through. He's 2 for 2. And now it's a 1-point game. Obviously, the offense is at a disadvantage today with these kinds of conditions. Fox UFC Saturday returns this week. Demetrius Johnson defends his World Flyweight Championship against Joseph Benavidez. You'll see it live on Fox. Coverage beginning Saturday at 8 Eastern.
I'll give old Leslie Frazier a lot of credit. I mean, the way their season has gone, and I know they played better of late, Chris, 2-1-1 in their last 4 games, but probably certainly, and when you look at it, not in the playoff picture here with 4 weeks to go, it would have been easy to come into these conditions against this opponent and sit down, and his team has not done that. Really, the only difference in this game, at least to me, was that bad call by Pete Morelli not turning over, what was called a turnover, going under review and keeping it a turnover, which led to Baltimore's only touchdown.
That was the Matt Elam fumble recovery, and then the Flacco touchdown to Ed Dixon. The Vikings have yet to win on the road officially. When they played in London, they were the home team when Matt Castle led them to victory over the Steelers, but they're 0-5-1 on the road this season. As Jacoby Jones is back to receive, and he'll have a chance. Jacoby Jones gets up near the 25-yard line.
And here really, Chris, is the difference in this game. A couple of bad calls. You see Toby Gerhardt right there. The right knee was down. It was called a fumble, went to review. They kept it a fumble, and then that led to a touchdown. Ed Dixon wide open, and then to me, another bad call here. Joe Berger on a big run from Cordero Patterson down into tight scoring position. Pete Morelli and his crew called a peel-back block on Joe Berger, trying to block Darrell Smith. And ended up obviously pushing it back and only got a field goal out of it.
Flacco from the 25-yard line. Pass caught, knocked down right away. The fullback Vontae Leach. So the Ravens with a narrow 1-point lead and a narrow spot in the playoff picture at the moment, the 6th seed. The Dolphins are beating Pittsburgh in the third quarter. They lead by a field goal. The Bengals are ahead of the Colts 21-7 in the third quarter. The Jets defeating the Raiders in the third 27-16. All teams that are involved in playoff possibilities in the AFC. From the 25, Bernard Pierce checks in at running back. It's a little bit of running room, but it'll be third down. Kevin Williams coming up to make the play.
Again, I mean, you talk about running lanes and opportunities for these running backs. Kevin Williams right here, I mean, he's going against a Pro Bowler, Marshall Yanda. You can't do it any better. Look at that extension, then the ability to shed and get to the running lane and bring down Bernard Pierce. It's not all on the backs here in Baltimore. That offensive line's got to provide better blocking.
3rd and 9. The pass caught short of the first down. It's Dennis Pitta, who is starting to find his groove, and Jamarcus Sanford had that ankle injury all week. And a tough tackle. He did get the first down according to the spot. Looked like it was short. The Vikings are...
Boy, did it ever.
Vikings are frustrated there.
Boy, that is a very interesting spot for Dennis Pitta.
And there's going to be a challenge on this because, and I think it is Leslie Frazier's throwing the red flag. His first challenge this season. And if we take another look, maybe they lost exactly where it was.
Challenging the ruling on the field of the forward progress in relation to making the first down.
Oh, that's not even close. Yeah. I mean, forward progress, he caught the ball and was tackled right where he caught it.
Under review. Pete Morelli,
after reviewing the play, the receiver did. It is short of the first. The 4th down, and Minnesota will not be charged a timeout.
Vikings win the challenge, the reversal, the correct call.
And there's the forward progress right when Dennis Pitta is touched as he caught the football and a yard short of the line to gain, the 35-yard line. You said it in the break, though. Give these guys a bit of a pass, these officials trying to spot it with the way these field conditions are and how it affects their vision and trying to find the right spot on the grid.
Sam Cook at his 20. Marcus Sherrills from inside the 20 lets it bounce, and it rolls down inside the 10 and into the end zone. That's a touchback and a break for the Vikings after a 66-yard boot. But out to the 20 on offense. Fox tomorrow, the future and past collide and an epic night of drama. First, the critically acclaimed new hit series, Almost Human. Then an all-new Sleepy Hollow. A father risks everything for answers. And it all starts tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
Well, the weather is lightened up in terms of the amount of snow falling, right?
And then
in the last 10 minutes.
Wintry mix. You know, the weather guys have all those names like Storm Field.
Oh, I got one for you.
Rains.
You're Los Angeles. I'm going to call you Chip Freeze.
Chip Freeze.
Chip Freeze.
I'm going to call you Harry Hale. On 1st and 10 from the 20. It's a 1-point game. Matt Castle in trouble and goes out. He got back across the line of scrimmage, but Terrell Suggs finally got that sack that he hadn't had in 4 games. And officially not a sack because he fell forward across the line of scrimmage. What was the story John Harbaugh said in practice with him? And was it Torrey Smith when he missed a pass and Suggs got on him about it?
Yeah,
hey, keep your focus. And Smith said, well, what about you? You haven't had a sack in 4 games.
Yeah, I know.
He said, I know, but you should still catch the ball. That's the kind of policing the Ravens players have amongst themselves.
And Terrell Suggs has provided a lot of leadership for these Ravens this year.
Gerhardt can't go far, and it's going to be 3rd down. Again, without Elvis Dumervil. Early in the week, his ankle responded better, according to John Harbaugh, but then later in the week, causing him to miss practice, so he inactive for this game.
Well, and they miss him. I mean, he is an elite pass rusher in this league. 9.5 sacks, led the Ravens coming in. And Courtney Upshaw, who right here is at the top, I don't think he'll ever be the pass rusher Elvis Dumervil is. Good player, but not that kind of punch as a rusher.
On 3rd and 8, Jennings, with 3 Ravens around him, had no chance. And that includes Ladarius Webb. Jeff Locke will come out to punt. The punters have done a good job, Tim, handling the football, the special teams in terms of the snap and protecting the guy who's got to boot it out of there so far today. And back to return, Jacoby Jones. Look out whether it's a kick or a punt. Number 10 to Doss did such a good job for the Ravens prior to Jones getting in. From the 30 of Baltimore. Ooh, here comes a flag late from behind the action.
He's done a nice job, Jacoby Jones, of fielding those punts from a left-footed punter. Everything's different for those guys back there.
Rotation of the ball does have an effect.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 36 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty. Timeout.
John Harbaugh disagreeing with the call. Ravens will have the football, but backed up a bit. From their own 29-yard line, Ravens with a 7-6 advantage, and Ray Rice, the running back, on 1st and 10. Rice, the carry.
Well, they're pushed back because of the penalty on Jeremy Miles. And John Harbaugh, the old special teams coach that he is, I just saw it. He ID'd who called it and said, "You missed it," twice. He's yelling at the official. He hit him in the shoulder.
From special teams coach to Super Bowl champion head coach, John Harbaugh.
A lot of respect for him, and not just their hard work, but the family atmosphere he provides here for the Ravens. Awesome.
32-yard line underneath to Rice. And it will be 3rd down. And when it's come to 3rd down through the course of today, interesting, both teams taking into consideration the weather.
Well, they've both been stuck in 3rd and long.
And you know, Tim, even 3rd and 2, I remember when that was a down you'd run on. But it seems like today's NFL, everybody's throwing.
Spread them out and let your quarterback throw the football.
And here it's 3rd and 4 from the Baltimore 35-yard line.
Especially when you don't believe in your run game. And I really don't think Baltimore truly believes in their offensive line in terms of being able to physically manhandle opponents like they used to.
Flacco in the pocket, diving for the football. And what a catch for the 1st down. Dennis Pitta.
That's what they miss.
Last year he had 61 catches and 7 touchdowns when the Ravens rolled in the Super Bowl.
And does a great job of getting open, using his big body out there on Jamarcus Sanford. And look at him just stretch out horizontally and catch that football.
From the 41-yard line, Flacco throwing on 1st down to Marlon Brown. Not bad for a guy who's playing in his first game since the Super Bowl off of that dislocated hip.
Really good, and he gave himself the opportunity. And it's a great catch, and he's laid out and stretched out, but the way he used his body on Jamarcus Sanford to really out-muscle him and free himself up, it's an element they've really been missing. Not only huge last year, this guy, Pitta, was instrumental in their Super Bowl run during the playoffs last year.
Yeah, they would flex him out in the slot many times. Pass caught. Jacoby Jones bottled up right away, but it's good enough for a Ravens 1st down. Never be without football. Get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile. Call star NFL, and you can download it now. Well, it's the lightest we've seen today so far in terms of the snow.
And it seems to me like vision has cleared up for Joe Flacco, because since the snow has stopped coming down as heavy, his accuracy has gone up.
44-yard line of Minnesota. Rice gets the carry and gets it down to the 40. Let's check in for a game break with Kurt Menefee.
Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers got 2 touchdowns in 53 seconds. This is an easy way to make it happen. Troy Polamalu picks off Ryan Tannehill, dives. It's confirmed after the replay, and it's 21-17. Steelers up in the third quarter. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. Interesting field look there, the way the snow was cleared out. As Flacco is back to throw, and incomplete. That was toward Ed Dixon, but not close. Some of the other scores. Look at how the Colts have closed the gap on the Bengals, who lead the North.
How about that?
That's a shocker.
Cleveland can play some defense now. I think we all know that by now.
Jason Campbell, the quarterback, and the Lions leading Nick Foles and the Eagles. Don't forget the game of the week coming up. 49ers, Seahawks for most of you. Some will see Giants, Chargers, and Rams, Cardinals. From the 40 of Minnesota, Rice bringing up third down.
Chris, it almost looks like
fourth down, excuse me.
The snow has turned to that freezing rain.
Yeah,
in terms of the way it looks coming down, right?
Yeah, now this is going to be an interesting call for a fourth down, given, normally you need about 2 yards, and they're going for it without hesitation. Actually, it looks like a yard and a half. Rice the back. Flacco's in trouble. Gets rid of it. No catch. Vikings take over on downs. Jared Allen put the pressure on and Pitt tried to make a spectacular catch of a mini Hail Mary from Flacco. An important defensive stand for the Vikings. Here in Baltimore, just as they said in the forecast, from snow to freezing rain, ice pellets now falling, so the visibility better, but it's going to get slicker.
Nice call, Chip Freeze.
As Gerhardt carries for the Vikings, who Suggs on the tackle, have mustered only field goals today. Again, Adrian Peterson went out in the second quarter. And it's been that kind of game. Each team with an early turnover. The only touchdown, Flacco to Dixon from the 36-yard line now of the Vikings. Castle. What a catch by Jennings. A one-hander, slips a tackle up across the 41-yard line, but it'll bring up third down.
That's a good job by Matt Castle, just knowing where to go with the football. You got Darryl Smith, who comes off the edge. Baltimore does a lot, Chris, defensively in terms of a bunch of different pressure looks. Castle sees it, unloads it out to that side, and another one-handed catch for Greg Jennings.
From the 43-yard line, that's a fifth catch of the game for Jennings.
He looks like a different player with Castle throwing him the ball versus Christian Ponder.
Castle's pass incomplete. He was never open. Ladarius Webb was right with Greg Jennings.
The only way you get him that ball is it's low into the outside. Not a good throw from Matt Castle.
The leading receiver in the game for the Ravens is Ray Rice with 5 catches, and again Jennings with 5 for the Vikings. Jeff Locke back to punt again, and Jacoby Jones standing inside the 15, back around the 12 of Baltimore. Oh, snap. Locke did a good job of getting it out of there in a high move. No fair catch. And Jones goes down right at the 20-yard line.
Do you notice when Jacoby Jones fields every punt, there's always a little hesitation as he catches it to make sure he's got it? He's really good at that.
It's been a 3-plow day here in Baltimore. Now 1st and 10 as Bernard Pierce checks into the backfield for the Ravens, and Flacco, he gets the carry. And gets up across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Sent down to the field, Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, the most popular place here on the sideline is in front of the heater, and it's not just for comfort. A lot of players, you'll see them heating up their feet. They're actually trying to melt the ice that's accumulating between their cleats. Big concern as slippery conditions materialize on the field. The cleat cleaners are also a popular place, Chris.
Never go to the heater. It's not cold enough to go to the heater.
Flacco in trouble, but gets rid of it to Pierce. He's trying to get a first down, and he does. That extra effort got him the first down.
Chris, if you win by that heater, you'd never want to leave. I'm telling you, that's why you don't go.
Well, I've been a sideline reporter. I almost caught on fire once standing down there next to the punter.
I think we've all seen a helmet or two, Mel.
Thank you. I was just, Torrey Smith, who is having a terrific season. He's closing in on a 1,000-yard season. The receiver for the Ravens, their leading receiver, does not have a catch today. He's only been targeted once deep.
He'll have an opportunity here with one safety in the middle of the field for Joe Flacco.
Pierce. .130 to go here in the third quarter. Audie Cole, who had 9 tackles last week. Named after, his father was named after the great actor and military hero Audie Murphy. And so he was named after him as well. On second down 5, Ray Rice is a receiver, top of your screen, 36 of Baltimore. Flacco has to get rid of that. And the pass, there's a flag down as the pass is intercepted by Sendejo.
The flag is for holding on Eugene Monroe, so this is going to stand.
Holding, number 60 offense. Penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
You called it correct, Tim. The penalty call declined on Monroe.
And there's Monroe there, and he's going to hold Everson Griffin as Everson Griffin right here tries to peel off to the inside right in front of the umpire who's standing there. And then here's the interception on the back end of it. Good undercut on the route from Andrews and Dejo.
And for the Vikings, who had few takeaways, this defense, at least coming into the game, the last 3 games, they hadn't done much. Well, they have 2 interceptions of Flacco in this one.
Tell you what, if they can punch it into the end zone here and get themselves 7 points, and the way this game has gone in terms of the flow and points hard to come by, it'd be huge for Minnesota.
Down.
At the 33-yard line, Cordero Patterson has it. And gets up inside the 30. Once he gets run, it's like a head of steam.
And if you let him turn the corner, it's really over. Courtney Upshaw was able to get out there and force that thing back inside. Josh Bynes down grabbing his arm.
He ran into that freight train 84, Cordero Patterson.
That almost looks like one of the neck stinger varieties.
6 starts this year for Bynes.
And Upshaw does a great job, really, of forcing that thing back up inside. And you saw Bynes right there falling off of Cordero Patterson. That's where the injury happened.
So the ball spotted at the Ravens' 27-yard line as Bynes heads over to the sideline. It'll be second down 4 for Minnesota. Third quarter winding down. A couple of field goals from Blair Walsh. Has them within 1. They fake to Patterson, throws the other way to the tight end Carlson. Ooh. A tough tackle toward the sideline by James Ahenabu.
Boy, was it ever. He just got slammed face first.
And there is a flag on that, despite the argument from the Ravens. Roughing the passer, the call on Courtney Upshaw on top of the completion.
And there's Upshaw right there, helmet right into the sternum. Clearly after Castle had unloaded the ball, there was an opportunity for him to pull up and not hit him. And then here's the face slam right into the turf on Carlson.
Sets up the Vikings at the 10-yard line. John Harbaugh upset with the officials. He caught a break in the first half when flags were thrown. First and goal. Gerhardt bounced into his own man, then got down to the 7-yard line. And that'll bring an end to the third quarter. The defending Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens lead 7-6, but Minnesota is on the move. Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, the NFL on Fox here in Baltimore. The Vikings, who had been giving up an average of 30 points a game, hanging in there, allowing the Ravens just 7 as we open play here.
The Ravens are used to this situation. I mean, how many tight games have they been in this year? 5 of their 6 losses are by an average of about 3.5 points.
From the 7-yard line, Toby Gerhardt the back for Matt Castle. He gets the football to delay handoff, and it didn't work. Suggs was ready for it. Yeah, the Ravens have been in the most games decided by 3 points or less, 7, and their record is 3-4 in those games. Their defense is on the spot now, trying to keep the Vikings out of the end zone, which they've done all day. On 3rd and goal from the 8 after a 1-yard loss.
And they've certainly gotten off the field defensively, Baltimore, all day. 13 opportunities for Minnesota. They've only converted 3.
Castle's throw is high in the end zone. Catch is good. Touchdown, Jerome Simpson. Perfectly placed by Matt Castle, and the 6'2" Simpson reached and kept his feet in.
And Jimmy Smith did not get the help inside that he was expecting from James Ehedebo in terms of the depth. And you said it, perfect timing for Jerome Simpson to get his first touchdown of the season.
They're going to go for 2 here, Tim, given the score, and you use your little chart.
Nice feet.
After the 8-yard touchdown pass, first touchdown reception of the season for Jerome Simpson, a one-time starter who has been demoted. And here is Gerhardt with Castle in the backfield. Trying to make it a 14-7 game. Incomplete. Trying to get it to Jennings.
Nice job by Matt Elam right there, the rookie safety.
That's their first 2-point conversion try of the season, as the Simpson catch automatically confirmed upstairs gives the Vikings the lead, as Harbaugh frustrated throughout that entire series.
And Jimmy Smith knew it right away. It looked like, from watching the play live, he gave up the inside leverage, letting Jerome Simpson run to the inside of him, expecting some help deep from his safety to the inside, and James Ehedebo, he never got the depth needed, and it was easy for Castle to Simpson.
Viking fans are probably wondering, why hasn't Matt Castle started more games?
Because Christian Ponder was a first-round pick, and they had to find out about him.
Well, he's inactive today. Castle, and this is 3rd start, again his 6th appearance. Played well in the win in London when they beat the Steelers.
Hey, if a guy's willing to wear a mustache like that, he's got to start.
Yeah, I think he said it was time to shave it off. His wife was teasing him about it. But Castle warmed up, patient with a couple of field goals, and delivered a strike against one of the better defenses in football.
You know, that's a good observation, because he was ice cold in these conditions to start the game, and he found his groove midway through the 2nd quarter.
A special teams miscue on the part of the Vikings, because that kick by Walsh bounces out of bounds, and so you're going to get the penalty. An excellent field position for the Ravens and Flacco. America's Game of the Week coming up on Fox. We hope you stay tuned. If you haven't seen the Seahawks play, you should check them out against the 49ers, their rivals. They beat them earlier in the year, but that was up in Seattle. This will be at Candlestick in San Francisco. Seahawks, 49ers. Some will see Giants in San Diego with the Rams, in Arizona against the Cardinals. Up at the 40 after the kick out of bounds. Flacco having to play catch-up. The catch made, and then the ball comes out as Torrey Smith fell to the ground. The official clearly ruled catch, and then when he hit the ground, the ball came out. It was a fumble.
Or it was never a catch to begin with. Let's see if he ever had full possession in terms of a full grip. Doesn't have it, still hasn't secured it. He's got it secured there. I think you're right. I mean, he secured it, wasn't a fumble as he was taken to the ground, and the ground popped it out.
And recovered by the Ravens. That's the three-step process. 2 hands, 2 feet, and then a football move as Ray Rice carries on first down. And that's his best run of the day.
Boy, really nice vision by Ray Rice to see that little crease just up inside as he was following his pulling guard, Marshall Yanda.
And Adrian Peterson, after going to the hospital, suffering a second quarter injury, has come back to the game and is sitting over on the Viking bench trying to stay warm and root his team on. Flacco's throw is complete to Marlon Brown inside the 30. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee for another game break.
Well, the Ravens need the Dolphins to lose to stay in that tiebreaker race with them. Pittsburgh helping out, yeah. 16-yard score to Jericho Cotry. It's 28-24. Steelers in the back-and-forth game. A lot of time left in the fourth quarter. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. First and 10 from the 30 of Minnesota. Rice spins and knocked down right away. It was back on Thanksgiving night when the Ravens hung on to beat Pittsburgh. They earlier in the year defeated the Dolphins. That's what has them in that vantage point in the wild card playoff hunt.
You know, Joe Flacco, it's certainly a lot of bumps in the road for him and for John Harbaugh, their offense, their passing game. But if you really look at all their games against the top-level defenses, Joe Flacco has done more than hold his own.
Bernard Pierce checks in at running back. Pass is caught, sliding out of bounds is Marlon Brown. Brown has 5 touchdown catches this year, and you talked about the rookie free agent from Georgia, that he was actually, as they hurried to the line, recruited by Jim Harbaugh at Stanford. Told his brother John about him, and they added him here, and he's played well for the Ravens on 3rd and 3.
Look at that. Not one rush on 3rd down.
From the 23 of Minnesota. Flacco has time, but he's in trouble. Catch near the first down. Brandon Stokely, bothered by a knee all week, hardly practiced, was doubtful for this game, but shows up as somehow Flacco survived that rush.
His toughness shows up all the time. Joe Flacco, I mean, he's just willing to hold in there, let guys flash open down the field, pushes off Fred Evans, unloads it to Stokely Greenway right there to hit him before the first down.
He had it for 9 seconds, and on 4th and 1, we're going to get a timeout call as the Ravens went to the line. Or at least the official is going to give them time. Yeah, actually, John Harbaugh wants the time. On 4th and 1 from the 21. So they're passing up on the field goal for the moment.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's never stop improving. By Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. And by KFC, the official sponsor of Couchgating. KFC plus football equals Couchgating.
Ravens pass up a field goal try of 38 or 39 on 4th and 1. Bernard Pierce the back. Torrey Smith in motion. Inside handoff to the fullback, Vontae Leach.
That is a bad decision. I would have kicked it. I mean, easy to say now after
You
the
said
fact
that
they
during the
didn't
break.
get it,
You
but I
said
did.
take the points.
Absolutely. Points hard to come by here. You got to get it within. You know, you get a field goal there, you get it to 2 points, then a field goal wins it for you. Maybe John Harbaugh looked at Minnesota's stats defensively on 4th down this year, Chris, and said, okay, people have converted 9 of 12 times against that defense. Let's put it on this offensive line in the run game and smash it for a first down, and it didn't work out.
Meanwhile, the Viking defense today, Tim, on 2 4th down tries by Baltimore, they stopped them. And a team, Leslie Frazier's team, that have been giving up more than 30 points, they have kept the Ravens in check. A 5-point Viking lead, 10.5 minutes to go. Toby Gerhardt, the running back from the 21, and Castle looks to throw. And it's tipped away on a dangerous pass for Red Ellison. Chris Canty made the defensive play.
Well, Clarence Brooks, defensive line coach, has all these guys coached up and really feeling that protection, feeling as they're trying to throw it out there to the tight end. And you look at all those defensive linemen, Canty leading the way with the pass breakup. They weren't even rushing the passer. Terrell Suggs was the guy putting the pressure. They were all going sideways to defend the pass.
On second down, Gerhardt straight ahead. Stopped short of the 25-yard line. Toby Gerhardt taking over in the second quarter, his 13th carry. He's had a run of 21 yards in this game.
13, as you said, Chris. He only had 21 carries coming into this game and was rolling for 9 yards a crack on the season in relief of Adrian Peterson.
5 wide receivers on 3rd and 6. For Patterson, incomplete. Ladarius Webb was back there, but it looked like Cordero Patterson had to play defense again.
Well, Dean Pease just said, you want to get 5 wide receivers on the field, the defensive coordinator for Baltimore, and protect with 5. We are going to send the house and blitz pressure you. And Castle had to let that deep route develop down the sideline. It really had no chance.
This will be the 8th punt of the day for Jeff Locke. He's been busy and steady. Jacoby Jones standing back inside the 30 of Baltimore. Ball bounces at the 32, around the 31, where the Vikings will down it, and it looks like the snow, sleet, whatever it's falling has stopped at the moment here in Baltimore. From the 31-yard line, Ray Rice the back. On first down, gets the carry. And Ray Rice has a Ravens first down. He seems to be gaining momentum here in the fourth quarter.
And he is just hitting little creases right up in the middle of this defense, little cutbacks. It's a good block and just cuts right off of the tail of Eugene Monroe and in between the rear end A.Q. Shipley. That was a tiny crack that he slid right through for a big gain.
His longest run of the day of 12 yards. Through the hands of Torrey Smith, his second target as Xavier Rhodes was covering. And looks like we have a player down. And that could be Rhodes, and it is, of the Vikings. They already, Minnesota has, we're not getting official injury news from the Vikings on Adrian Peterson. They said they would not release anything until after the game. John Carlson also being evaluated for a concussion.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Domino's. Oh, yes, we did.
From the 43-yard line on 2nd and 10, Ray Rice with the carry. And another first down for Rice. Xavier Rhodes was helped off the field, and Marcus Sherrills had to come in to play corner, already without Josh Robinson back there. But Ray Rice starting to pick up his best 2 runs of the day coming in the last few series.
Man, this is his best game since they played the Bears several weeks ago, and it's really the same defense. So maybe they have found something for Ray Rice.
From the 46 now of Minnesota, Bernard Pierce gets to the 45 before Fred Evans makes the stop. So Sherrills in for Xavier Rhodes, who's played a couple of good games, one of those rookies, first-rounders you were talking about. But, boy, what a toll. We mentioned that Brandon Fusco went out. Also Adrian Peterson, John Carlson being checked for concussion. They're trying to hold up with a 5-point lead against Flacco. Incomplete for Torrey Smith. Cook was on him. Fans want a flag and none coming.
Tell you, Leslie Frazier has put it on his defense to line up, play press coverage, get physical with guys. Let's see if there is some contact from Chris Cook. Definitely contact there with the ball in the air. How material it was, I'm not sure.
Well, he was pulling out his shirt. That's material. That's clothing. on 3rd and 9 from the 45. up with the tipped ball. Jacoby Jones had a shot at it, but the ball hung in the air.
Jacoby Jones had it, Chris. What a reaction by Marcus Sherrills. Flacco sees one-on-one coverage, throws it up. Watch Jacoby Jones, number 12, go up over the top of Sherrills. You said it, I mean, it went right, just misjudged it in the air. I thought he had it for a second. He didn't, and misjudged it in the air. Ball tipped up in the air a couple of times, and Sherrills came down with it.
And his punt return skills of being able to follow the ball into his hands, I'm sure helped. But remember, Sherrills just came in to play corner because of the Rhodes injury, and already Josh Robinson out of the game. And Flacco, his third interception today. He had only thrown 3 at home for the entire season prior to that.
Man, look, and nothing he could do about that one. That was a good throw against a corner who just came off the bench onto the field. His receiver let him down, didn't make a play for him.
Matt Castle rolling and getting rid of it, where it'll be second down. From the 10-yard line of the Vikings.
Just talked about Leslie Frazier putting it all on the defense and saying, look, if we're going down swinging. We're not going to sit back and play all these zone coverages. You've been, hammered in the media quite a bit about playing a prevent defense at the end of games. We're going to line up defensively, play man coverage, put it on the players, and the players have answered the bell over the last few games.
From the 10-yard line, Gerhardt. It'll be third down. And the ankle injury will keep Xavier Rhodes from getting back into the game for Minnesota. Jerome Simpson, who had the touchdown catch, which gave the Vikings the lead, and it was a spectacular catch. Checks back into the game. You saw Chase Ford going out on 3rd and 7 from the 13. And the Ravens, these fans, they want to stop on defense. Pass is caught by Patterson. He'll be short of the first down.
He wanted some type of a horse collar called there on Ladarius Webb. Did Cordero Patterson? No way. Ladarius Webb just wrapped him up around the back of his neck, as you see right there.
And it's legal to pull the hair.
Pull the hair. I don't think he had his hand inside the collar of the shirt. Certainly looks like hair there.
The 9th punt of the game for Jeff Locke. Gets it out of there. Jacoby Jones waving everybody away as it bounces inside the 40, rolls to the 35.5-yard line where the Vikings will down it. And Joe Flacco, who has thrown the ball 40 times today, will lead the offense out of the field. Ravens from their own 36-yard line, trailing by 5 on first down. Flacco with Ray Rice behind him. Rice the carry. Across the 40. Let's get a game break. Check in with Joel Klatt.
And Chris, coming up next on Fox, it's America's Game of the Week. Colin Kaepernick, he's 0-2 against Seattle, and Russell Wilson, a couple of Stanford guys. Richard Sherman, Baldwin saying hello to Jim Harbaugh. It's the 11-1 Seahawks, 8-4 49ers coming up on Fox.
Thanks, Joel. As Flacco's pass is caught by Jacoby Jones, and he stays inbounds, working against Sherrills, who had the interception moments ago. Into Viking territory after a gain of 15 and a first down. 15 fourth-quarter comebacks in the regular season for Flacco, 2 in the postseason.
Minnesota with 2 deep safeties. Let's see if they rotate or just offering the run-up to the Baltimore Ravens, and they're taking advantage of it.
There's a flag down in the backfield.
Holding, number 66 offense, 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
The center, Gino Gradkowski, called for that to wipe out what was an impressive run. And the running game, this is the best we've seen in a while from this Ravens team.
No
here.
doubt. But you know what? I think they've gotten away from what they've done over the last several games. You look at Jim Caldwell as the offensive coordinator. so many years in Indianapolis calling those offensive. It was all that outside zone, that stretch play, They've made their mind up in this game. Forget the outside runs for Ray Rice and Bernard Pierce. It's been straight downhill between the tackles.
Back at the Baltimore 46 now after the penalty on the center on 1st and 20. Flacco going deep. Jacoby Jones is back there, so is Marlon Brown. And there's a flag. There were 2 Raven receivers running in the same area.
And they're going to end up getting, I believe, Sendejo here. Or excuse me, Blanton against Marlon Brown with the ball in the air. I think it's going to be pass interference on Minnesota.
Pass interference, number 36, defense. Automatic first down.
It looked like the pass was intended for Jones.
It sure did, as Jacoby Jones is going to come back inside and play it. What you see just inside of him was the pass interference as he was cutting in, and then Marlon Brown was cutting out, and Blanton was all over him with the ball in the air. That's a good call by the back judge.
And a 37-yard penalty from the 17 now of Minnesota. Bernard Pierce gets knocked down back in the 21-yard line.
That's a great play by Sharif Floyd.
Another rookie stepping up today
one
for
of
the
those,
Vikings.
One of those 3 rookies drafted in the 1st round, and this cat is showing flashes now. I mean, you see it. It's going to be right there, number 95. Baltimore, all those zone runs, they want to chop you down at the line of scrimmage, attack you from the knee to the feet. Sharif Floyd having none of it. Very nice play.
From the 20-yard line, pass is caught. Ed Dixon falls around the 13. Now the Vikings defense is shaky as they've been in the last 3 games. They've been one of the better teams in the red zone defensively. Leslie Frazier brought that up, Tim, when we talked about it.
Well, I think one thing they've changed down in the red zone is they've gotten into a lot of, they just sit back and play cover 2 or cover 4 with all these zones. They've started attacking people more with pressure packages and man coverage in the red zone.
Pass is caught by Pitta, knocked down right away, short of the first down. It'll be another 4th down. They're going to give him the forward progress. Let's see where they spot it now. That red line is not official. We superimpose that to get a sense, and you can see it's about a yard short. Well, they're going to set 1st and goal now. Okay. So a gain of 6, and 1st and goal Ravens after the catch by Pitta. Ray Rice. Down inside the 2.
Boy, he is hitting the line of scrimmage with a nasty attitude and saying, you know what, it hasn't gone right for me most of the year. No sideways running for Ray Rice. He is hammering it up inside.
And averaging over 4 yards a carry today, Tim, aside from his 5 catches. And 2nd and goal from the 1 for the Ravens. Ray Rice. And a tough stand by this Viking defense. Where it'll be 3rd and goal, Everson Griffin making the stop.
Well, good job by Audie Cole, middle linebacker, taking out that lead block. Not a lot of people want to see Vontae Leach coming right in your face down on the goal line. He got lower than Leach, stacked it up, and allowed Everson Griffin and the other guys to come finish it up.
Actually lost a little, so they're at the 2-yard line. Flacco has it. End zone incomplete. Trying to go to Vontae Leach. Coverage was good by Jamarcus Sanford, and it's 4th and goal from the 2.
I'll tell you what, I am not so sure what's going on with Justin Tucker, the kicker, to be honest with you.
Well, they went twice on 4th down, and the Ravens were stopped both times.
I think here at 2 minutes, I mean, 5 points, you got to go for it. You got no choice.
2 timeouts for each team. There is Justin Tucker, who's made 27 straight field goals, has not had an attempt today.
And I think if they would have attempted it the last drive, they'd only be down by 2.
Ray Rice as a receiver. Flacco, end zone. Touchdown, Dennis Pitta.
Chris, there's nothing wrong with that dude's hip. I mean, he is healthy, and you had to figure it was his biggest opportunity here in this game down in the red zone. Look at him shake Sendejo down and get that freedom. And Joe Flacco's got great trust with him and just throws an absolute dart right on the money.
His 5th catch of the game, and you see the coach, he wants 2. They're 1 for 1 this season in 2-point conversions. Remember, the Vikings failed in their 2-point attempt. A 1-point Ravens lead.
Gonna get Yonda offside.
Offense.
False start.
5-yard penalty. Retry.
It'll back him up. 5 yards. Joe Flacco surviving 3 interceptions in this game. He's also been sacked a couple of times with his 2nd touchdown pass, and now Matt Castle will have to try and rally the Vikes with 2 timeouts and just over 2 minutes to play.
Boy, Dennis Pitta with a bit of a rough start in this game has been huge here in the second half for Joe Flacco.
2-point conversion. There he is. Flacco end zone open. Torrey Smith. A slam dunk for 2, and it widens the Ravens' lead.
Now, they caught Minnesota blitzing. They did. I mean, they brought a safety. Watch the safety right there come flying up. Little man, one guy going out, the other guy going in. Torrey Smith, he flashes open. Marcus Sherrills couldn't stay with him. That is a big 2-point conversion, but really vulnerable because they sent that pressure and Joe Flacco saw it.
Torrey Smith, 1 catch today before that one. And Dennis Pitta wasn't even active before this game. And he has the touchdown, the go-ahead touchdown. And 5 catches for the Ravens.
I was on the pregame show this morning, and they asked me about Dennis Pitta and what's he going to mean to this Baltimore offense. I said, number one, he's been a great security blanket for Joe Flacco. There's trust. He's a matchup problem, 6'5", 245 pounds. He's a problem for linebackers and safeties, but I said mostly it's down in the red zone where Baltimore has struggled, and Pitta has provided a nice role down there in scoring position today.
And Ed Dixon, his first touchdown catch of the year, the other tight end who's been carrying the load when Pitta's been out. Carefully, Cordero Patterson has it. And gets up across the 31-yard line to set the Vikings and Matt Castle up in pretty good shape. We've reached the 2-minute warning. The Vikings trail after this, but they have 2 timeouts in the football. Earlier this morning, that's Dennis Pitta, active, and Joe Flacco arriving together at the stadium, and they just connected on the go-ahead touchdown. From the 32, first down, Castle, caught. And Jerome Simpson, who had the touchdown catch for Minnesota, makes a big grab there. 10 fourth-quarter comebacks in the career of Matt Castle, and then a 27-yard connection.
Baltimore, with their safeties, were playing about 25 yards off the ball, giving that easy stuff in terms of the intermediate passing game.
Toby Gerhart in field goal range, and a lot more. Toby Gerhart, touchdown Vikings.
Couple things. They caught Baltimore rushing the passer. Perfect call by Billy Musgrave calling the draw. It was wide open. And then Baltimore all year long has been one of the best tackling defenses in pro football. James Ihedebo just whiffed on Toby Gerhart.
And Blair Walsh to kick the extra point. That's only the 3rd rushing touchdown against this Ravens defense all season.
Incredible.
And what a time for it to happen. And now a 4-point Viking advantage. So Flacco, if he's going to rally his team, is going to need a touchdown. But Toby Gerhart subbing for the injured Adrian Peterson, and there's Adrian, proud of this run.
Watch this. Terrell Suggs is going to be rushing the passer. You're going to see a linebacker flash in and go upfield. Arthur Jones rushing the passer. Huge lane right there. Hedebo doesn't wrap. Matt Elam doesn't wrap. And Toby Gerhart makes him pay with a huge touchdown.
Toby Gerhart with 93 yards rushing, averaging over 6 a carry. And it's not over yet, but bad news for the Ravens because the Dolphins have gone in front of the Steelers in the fourth quarter, and the Bengals are winning big at home against Indianapolis.
That is a great call by Musgrave, the offensive coordinator, and just really caught Baltimore slipping. They were thinking pass the whole way.
Well, and I'm sure there's a little bit of a letdown when an Adrian Peterson is not in the game. And there's the offensive coordinator, Bill Musgrave.
He's a pretty good quarterback himself back in the day.
Working with Castle, the third different starting quarterback for Minnesota. And the backup running back. A 68-yard drive covering less than 40 seconds in just 2 plays.
What did Terrell Suggs tell us? If we lose this one, it could be over for us in terms of the playoffs. He was 5 yards up the field rushing the passer.
Look out! Jacoby Jones! Jacoby Jones! Touchdown!
Unbelievable.
It was one of those pooch kicks. And Jones knew where to go with it. 4th career kickoff return for a touchdown. This one covering 79 yards.
Unbelievable. Here it is. Pooch it up, as you said, short. Got everybody locked up on blocks. Now, Blair Walsh, you got to get him out of bounds. Jacoby Jones flashes inside like he's going to cut back against the grain, then turned on the juice down the sideline. Touchdown.
And under 2 minutes, of course. All plays, scoring reviewed by the booth upstairs, and they are confirming the Jacoby Jones return for a touchdown. Ruled a touchdown on the field. The Raven fans are ready.
Jacoby's ready.
They showed it here on the big screen.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
Here's where being pigeon-toed comes in handy for Jacoby Jones. Look at those feet tilted inside. That left foot comes down inside the sideline stripe, and forget it. I don't know how you ever kick it to him, to be honest with you. In terms of a pooch kick, a short pooch kick, Jacoby Jones waiting for it. Tactical error by Minnesota. Great play by Jacoby Jones.
No 2-point conversion. They're going for the extra point. And Justin Tucker makes it a 3-point Ravens lead.
He got touched one time, and then the kicker finally, Blair Walsh, got a little bit of a hand on him, could not push him out of bounds.
And Arthur Jones, the defensive side of the field for the Ravens, was stunned.
If he had a phone in his hand, he'd be texting OMG to about 1,000 people.
He's like,
Can't believe it.
We're still in this thing. A 3-point lead. And John Harbaugh, see, now he watched on the scoreboard, and he didn't have to step out of the way either to do it. He clearly saw Jones run for the touchdown. But 1:16 and 2 timeouts. We've had a lot of drama here in the last few moments.
You see what Jacoby can do without Mike Tomlin on the sideline?
He was fined for that, and a draft pick will be handed out as punishment in Pittsburgh as well. Coming up after our game with a Pepsi game break with all the highlights and a lot from this one. Still time for Castle and Cordero Patterson. Knocked down at the 20-yard line. With Tim Ryan and Jennifer Hale, Chris Myers, we're glad you're tuning in here in Baltimore, where Jacoby Jones just ran a kickoff back 79 yards to give the Ravens the lead. But that was just after Toby Gerhart, in for the injured Adrian Peterson, scored on a 41-yard touchdown run. Matt Castle got the start and has gone all the way with a couple of touchdown tosses in the game. 2 timeouts. Incomplete for Simpson. It was a tight defensive game moments ago.
Gerhart is out there for Adrian Peterson, who hurt his leg early in this game. Slams a draw up in there for a touchdown. Moments later, tactical error, pooch kicking it to Jacoby Jones, and he throttles him for a touchdown.
John Harbaugh said December. It's the most important time of the year. We build our program around this kind of football.
He said we should be playing our best. We work hard. They also work smart. He's a great coach.
It'll be 3rd down. The Raven defense, that touchdown run by Gerhart was just the 3rd rushing touchdown allowed by Baltimore this season. From the 21 of Minnesota.
This team has been in so many pressure cookers and you know, situations that come down to the very end. They just believe they can win no matter what. Let's see if they can hold on.
They need to get to the 31 for a 1st down. Cordero Patterson has it, and the rookie is loose. With 1 man to get past, he puts a move on. Look at Patterson go! I don't believe this! Touchdown Vikings! And there are no flags. 79 yards.
Unbelievable. How you turn a little short route like that against one of the best tackling defenses in pro football and make a 79-yard house call, it's unreal.
I can't believe what I'm seeing here. You don't run through the Ravens defense, whatever that is, like the Vikings are doing. 45 seconds remain, and now the extra point from Walsh. And these fans in Baltimore who have sat through hours of snow and sleet and freezing rain, they're as stunned as we are.
And Cordero Patterson, the rookie, has been electrifying at times this year. Got some good blocks out here. He gets one right there from Asiata, gets another one from Berger, gets one from Khalil, cuts back against the grain, and then turns Matt Elam around right there in open space. Elam falls down, and once Cordero Patterson gets in the open field, Chris, with his speed, forget it.
It's the longest pass play of the season for the Vikings, and Patterson, who has scored every which way, as a runner, as a kickoff returner, as a receiver, just did it to John Harbaugh's defense.
What a swing of emotions in the last 3 or 4 minutes of this game. 45 seconds, Chris. Don't go away. There could be a couple more touchdowns.
3 touchdowns in less than a minute and 25 seconds.
Now don't kick to that guy. Don't do it.
Well, they tried on the pooch to avoid it, but he ran under it.
Well, squib it and kick it on the ground.
Joe Flacco has 17 fourth-quarter comebacks in his career, 2 in the postseason, and he thought he had another one here. And with 45 seconds and 2 timeouts, he'll have an opportunity. Jacoby Jones has no touchback. Will take it at the 20-yard line. And it could be the one. Cordero Patterson's run for the touchdown after the catch, or maybe the Jacoby Jones return on Fox Sports Live. Check out the one whenever you get the opportunity. 3 touchdowns in less than a minute.
Incredible finish so far. Kidding me?
Teams were slugging it out through the snow.
Was it 7-6 at halftime, the score of this game?
Ravens led by 1. Now they trail by 4. Flacco. Marlon Brown. He's in Viking territory. They're playing like they're in the backyard in the snow.
And they've got to have a touchdown, 4 points.
And a timeout. A 35-yard pass play. And the ball spotted at the 45 of Minnesota. Baltimore will have 1 timeout remaining. Look at how the points piled up in the fourth quarter. And remember, we have had a couple of fourth down tries for the Ravens that they failed on.
There's not one guy on that Ravens sideline that doesn't think they can win this game.
Well, Joe Flacco said the close games, the pressure. I mean, they've been in the playoffs, him and John Harbaugh, every year they've been together. They're used to it. Just to get rid of it. It's incomplete. And here in the fourth quarter, it was Gerhardt who gave the Vikings the lead with his 41-yard dash. Jacoby Jones, the 79-yard kickoff return to give the Ravens the lead. And then off the pass from Castle, it was the run that did it for the rookie Cordero Patterson. And that's how the Vikings have the lead. But still, 32 seconds to go and a Ravens timeout.
Isn't it crazy, the different personalities? John Harbaugh has been up and down. You've seen everything on his face. Leslie Frazier hasn't changed his reaction one bit in this game.
Flacco from the 45-yard line. And that ball's intercepted. Here comes a flag. Dennis Pitta was running with Greenway underneath.
And Greenway's got his hands out. He can't believe it that he is going to get flagged here. And it looks like he is going to be the guy that gets called for the foul.
Pass interference, number 52 defense. Automatic first down.
He's arguing that the receiver was slipping.
I don't think it was pass interference. From up here, it looked like Greenway had contact, but before the ball was in the air, there's a little bit of contact right there. The ball was still not in the air. If anything, I mean, that was illegal contact. Did not look like pass interference to me.
An 18-yard penalty stops the clock. Flacco floats one for Marlon Brown, who has to knock it down out of bounds. 18 seconds as Robert Blanton was back there. And now the snow or freezing rain has picked up. It's been snowing all afternoon. Started a couple hours, almost 3 hours before game time, and these teams have battled through it. Now at the 27-yard line.
Boy, I would think Baltimore, you got to take a quick shot to the sideline, get closer, get it out of bounds, and then take your shots in the end zone.
Flacco has time, he can run it. Dennis Pitta has it.
Well, they better hurry. Well, they got to use that timeout, call it.
Inside the 10 of the Vikings. And they're going to use their final timeout. And a terrific decision by Flacco. He had a 21-yard run early in the game that led to a touchdown. Had room to run there, but saw the open receiver. And now at the 9-yard line, and you see Baltimore has no timeouts. And 10 seconds. These are the defending Super Bowl champions. They've been up and down much of the season. A lot of personnel changes, but they've won 3 out of 4 for John Harbaugh, who said this is the time you have to play like a champion. Coming in as the 6th seed in the AFC into the day, if the season were to end, and have a tough schedule after this. Joe Flacco. Back in the end zone. That's Marlon Brown for a touchdown.
For a rookie receiver, if that dude got his feet down inside the end line, incredible.
Well, Joe Flacco said he plays bigger than 6'5".
And he's coming out of the slot. Joe Flacco sees him right over the top of Audie Cole, the middle linebacker. There's the feet, one down. Looked like his right was down and his left was down at the second he had gripped the ball. See it better here. Yeah, both feet down, inbounds, possession of the football all the way through the ground. That's a game winner, maybe.
And worth reminding, it's so difficult with the snow on the field, Tim. They've plowed numerous times throughout the afternoon, but it'll be reviewed by the officials upstairs. A sigh of relief, possibly.
You can't believe what's happened in this game in the last 5 minutes.
And he can't believe it. Leslie Frazier, the Vikings have lost 3 games this year on last-minute touchdown passes.
And you know what? I believe they were in their cover 2 defense right there, which has really got them bit at the end of games. And they threw it right over that middle linebacker in that cover 2 defense to the seam receiver, Marlon Brown. Now, again, his feet are going to be down inside the end line right there. He's got a firm grip. Both feet are in. Now, to me, the only thing is possess it all the way through the ground, finish the catch. The ground didn't force the ball to move right there. That to me is a touchdown.
There have been a couple of controversial calls in this game. In the first half, one that went against the Vikings.
You know, old Ozzie Newsome getting a couple guys every year, college free agents that play dividends, and it looks like Marlon Brown just paid a big one.
Well, John Harbaugh said that Marlon Brown was recruited by his brother Jim Harbaugh when Jim was back at Stanford, and they knew something about him. Senior at Georgia who had a knee injury, but had 5 touchdown catches coming into today.
And I think that's why he wasn't drafted, was that ACL injury he had at Georgia. I think John Harbaugh said they kept going down to watch Tavares King, a good receiver in pro football, and this guy Marlon Brown just kept jumping off the screen at him.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
4 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes and 5 seconds. But the most important one from Joe Flacco to Marlon Brown. And boy, they look like a playoff team.
What did I say with 38 seconds? There's not one guy on the Ravens sideline that does not believe they can win this game.
And for Leslie Frazier, whose team just came out of back-to-back overtime games. After the halfway point, they've gone 2-1-1. And battled here today. The extra point makes it 29-26 Ravens. This is the 8th game this year, if it is decided this way, to be decided by 3 points or less. They played the tight games, and they'll be 4-4. These last 4 seconds tick away without a Viking score. Don't forget America's Game of the Week. You'll see the Seahawks and 49ers. Some will catch the Giants and Chargers, and the Rams and Cardinals as well. Miami did beat the Steelers 34-28. The Bengals over the Colts 42-28. Today was a Mike Burks production, directed by Michael Frank, associate director Brian Biederman, broadcast associate is Mike Strack. The studio show produced by Bill Richards and directed by Stephanie Medina. Shake of the head for Leslie Frazier, whose team gave it their best shot. Adrian Peterson injured in the second quarter.
Steve Spagnuolo is a senior defensive consultant here for Baltimore, is in the booth right next to us. There's 4 seconds. He's still biting his nails.
He's leaning up over the counter. He doesn't know what to expect, and neither do we. We said at the beginning, on a snowy day in Baltimore, just fighting to the finish. A snowy day in Baltimore makes for entertaining pictures and unpredictable football. And it has been unpredictable, but the Ravens pull it out. For Tim Ryan, I'm Chris Myers and our entire crew. Thanks for watching the NFL on Fox.